This was a twist. But the longer you sit and think about it, the more you won't be able to comprehend the fact of how you didn't see this coming. The signs were there, but we ignored it because the guy was pretty funny. But somebody was not taking that shit lightly, and that was the choker maker. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about today, but before we get into all of that, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, DomoSenpai, and we are here with chapter 137 of Gachiakuta, and man, did I enjoy this chapter way more than I thought I would, based on how it started off, right? But if y'all are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, make sure y'all go down below and hit that big ass red subscribe button underneath the video. Help your boy reach 20,000 subscribers. Let's amp this shit up and take it to the highest level. This year, I said I wanted to hit 100K, and damn it, I'ma stand on that. I'll continue working my ass off until I hit these goals, and I hope if any of y'all have big goals y'all want to accomplish this year, that y'all knock them out too. But with all that being said, let's get into the The title being called The Real Doll Festival is extremely interesting because I remember asking in my previous chapter review, y'all can go back and watch it. And this is just me paraphrasing, but I remember being like, yo, what are the real intentions of the doll festival? And I remember one of my homies on stream, right? One of my homies during that stream where I was just going through Gachiakuta stuff, brought up mind control through the chokers, and I was like, nah, that sounds too cliche if the choker maker ends up being the one doing that. Love sounds more interesting. And goddamn it, I was wrong. Damn, was I wrong. I'm pretty sure it was the homie I don't have a name that said it too. I have to go back and look. But moving on, the title coupled with how the venue looked left a real, oh, shit's about to go down feeling. I could tell that Kei Urana was about to get in her bag. The atmosphere was dreadful, and I fucking love it. We are then presented with the return, albeit a brief one, of Mildreda and Mireille. One of the big things you can take away from their conversation is that they don't really seem all that bad, especially Mildreda. Not only is her awareness top tier, but the way she looks after people really puts the cleaner's name to good use. And they use the term high alert in quotations, which means to me, they are aware of how the Hell Guard operates. And when you know it, the Hell Guard eventually pulls up and takes them away. We are then sent back to the Doll Festival, and we get to see it in its full splendor. Mimo doing his hosting duties, everyone in the crowd is enjoying the show being put on by all of the contestants, all to be greeted by Arudo, who couldn't even fathom what the hell he was just told by the choker maker. This to me was fascinating because the isolation reminds me of his time up on the sphere. And with me just coming up with that, I think it's going to be hella important for later in the series when these parallels actually start to make themselves apparent. The conversation between the two continues from where it left off in the previous chapter, with the choker maker asking him to destroy the festival. This conversation is super interesting in of itself because when you first read this part, it sounds off. But I want y'all to think about it as I read what the choker maker said. There's no time to waste being confused. At this moment, you are there, at the scene. That's not a coincidence. You have to seize the opportunity. I won't take any questions. You must act now, this instant, and quickly. The hall is packed full of people. Get rid of them. This sounds crazy, right? This random guy is trying to make you get rid of all the people here? Why would he do that, right? Why would he do that? Let us continue. As Rudo is hearing this and trying to gather his thoughts, his attention is drawn to the center stage. A young girl telling the story of how she's always wanted to be in the doll festival and that the loss of her mother and grandmother gave her the ability to push through and attend and be a contestant. We all know how Rudo feels about the loss of a loved one, so that immediately resonated with him. Enough to tell the choker maker that he's not going to go along with his games that he wanted to play. Side note, I like the candy reference here too because it takes us back to chapter 86 where that one random weirdo tried offering Rudo candy and Rudo fucked him up for lying. Anyway, when Rudo was telling him no, the way the choker maker paused and said, "What?" made me laugh hard as hell, bro. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it fucking worked. Because this didn't sound like a "I'm mad that you didn't fall for my schemes, man" type of what, right? Nah, this sounded more like a "bro?" That's what it sounded like to me. And that all gets clarified here because the choker maker goes on to say, Lily, you didn't explain it to him, did you? I'm very sorry. I told Lily not to tell you any more than she had to, but it looks like she left out almost the entire explanation I needed her to give you. That shit is hilarious, right? Because remember in the last chapter review where I brought up the fact that it seemed like Lily was talking around something? That makes a lot more sense with this context. He then says, there's no time. I'll make it brief. The hall is full of people. I need you to save them. We then cut to an angry Goka, and this was already unsettling because it seems like he's on his way to stop something or someone, but the choker maker was not done yet. He then says, there's someone out there trying to use my chokers for malicious purposes. The evil bastard. He's been concocting a plan for ages and he's found a way to rule the world. Looking back, that 2 Lily and Rudo combo lacked a lot of detail. It also didn't help the fact that Lily did seem kind of like an airhead, especially when she was explaining like, oh yeah, I went to go see these cleaners and they were actually janitors. And then, she went to go see Kuro, of all people, and get her pockets wrung dry. So leaving out details seemed like it was right up her alley, but not all of that. So let's break down all of what we know. The choker maker is not a bad guy. In fact, he's trying to save everyone from someone else who's planning on using the chokers to, quote unquote, rule the world. But who has enough power to actually do all of that? It would have to be someone who's able to get everyone's attention at the drop of a dime. So as you stew over those questions I just asked you, let us continue. We are then surprised with yet another rare food sighting, and Ryo asking him if he's met the twins before, and that their time was coming up to perform. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bruh. This panel killed me. I had to use that as the main thumbnail focus because it was too good to pass up. The reverse clickbait is great. After many chapters of being ignored, Fu finally had his time to shine. Aside from all of that, Ryo points out that Rudo was off to the side, and Engine being Engine, looked concerned as he was checking on Rudo. Engine has always, and it's something we've talked about, right? Engine has always had this uncanny intuition about things, so I would like to assume that he may be able to figure out something based on the situation at hand. From here on out, the tension increases, making this whole moment feel tumultuous. Because as the choker maker is explaining the type of person we're dealing with, there's so much happening that you can't help but feel uneasy. It's like a confluence of emotions, something to distract you from the real threat. He says, the person we're dealing with is using the Doll Festival as his big unveiling. He wants to announce the reign of a new ruler to demonstrate his power. This goes back to what the crazy guy was already saying a few chapters back. This is like, 135, 134 or something like that? As Rudo asks about what kind of power it is, the choker maker says, the power to rule. It's ridiculous. The idea of a peaceful rule with no wars or bloodshed. But this guy, he's trying to do it anyway, using my choker. Now, this is where things get crazy. Rudo questions him like, yo, how can the chokers rule anything? And the choker maker goes on to say, the most convenient communication device here on the ground. Everyone wears one. Everyone is dependent on theirs, even in costume. They still wear it. Destroy the Doll Festival. It's not just a random assignment to see if you listen to this person. Every human alive is his doll to control. And as Goka breaks into a room, a voice says, all right, everyone, let's be quiet now. The crowd stops immediately, and they get these squiggles in their eye. This shot of the crowd was fucking terrifying. Because if you want me to be real, they look like zombies. The choker maker then says, I knew it was too late. So please, I need you to save them from that rotten piece of filth. And as y'all could tell, the silhouette that we were given way back in chapter 81 is indeed the choker maker. He also looks pretty old, if this is to be true, right? So odds are he's been around for quite some time. But we are then given quite the fucking McTwist. The one behind this is none other than the news reporter himself, Mimo. And I wish I had that stream archive of me talking about Mimo because I vaguely remember me talking about Rio not liking Mimo and him potentially being bad, and somebody called me an idiot for it. I promise, there's somebody that's gonna watch this video and they're gonna be like, yeah, I remember that stream. Somebody's gonna remember this, bro. But when you think about it, this makes a lot of sense. There is only one person who has the eyes and ears of everyone on the ground and delivers news at the drop of a dime. And yes, the Choker Maker does have a way of getting in contact with everyone, but this adds another layer to it. If we go back to chapter 109, after Mimo was talking about his breaking news, Rio went on to say, I really hate this guy, but everybody watches him because he gets us the news faster than anybody else. But I do want to hold off on the glaze because I genuinely want to know the reasoning as to why he wants to show off his power to rule and how he's going to show off his power to rule. I think Urana has the potential to make him such an interesting character. Just don't make the reasoning mad bland. Because thinking back to that crazy guy who was the quote-unquote decoy, he did seem under someone else's control, but he didn't have that sideways M in his eyes. So I wonder what that was about. If y'all want me to be really honest with you, I don't think it stops at Mimo. I think there's somebody even behind him. I think that there's somebody even behind him that's pulling the strings. I can't wait to see what Urana does next because, bro, this chapter was fucking fire! If there was anything that I missed that you guys thought I should have covered, make sure y'all let me know down below. Also, what was your favorite part of the chapter? Be sure to tell me that in the comments as well. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I can't wait to do a deep dive back into the series and check for more Mimo crumbs because I know there's more somewhere. I might do some more videos on this throughout the week, but with me also almost being done with the Gachiakuta retrospective video, I may make that my goal from here on out, but we'll see. Anyway, y'all have a good morning, afternoon, or night wherever y'all are. I'm DomoSenpai, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.